morning. This is Tom Nielsen, a member of the Board of Directors of Capital City Unity, and I'm here to welcome you to today's service. We acknowledge the disasters that are happening on the planet, and the fires and the floods, and all the things that are going on right now, but we pour our love into the world to change the vibration behind these things. And we change our collective future, and we let love radiate without concern for results. And we know that God wins and love wins. If you're joining us for the first time, we bless and welcome you. We know you are a child of God. And if you would like to know more about us, check our website, capitalcityunity.org, where you will find a link to our YouTube past meditations and lessons. You can also email us at capitalcityunity@gmail.com to be placed on our mailing list. And here's the flow of today's phone-in church service. First of all, of course, we've had to welcome. I will read the daily word, and then we will be blessing the names of the people in the prayer box. And please email us if you have someone or something that you would like us to pray for. We'll do the affirmations, the meditation, and then Marty will have his message followed by the offering and the closing prayer. So I invite you to enjoy this day, even as we continue our social distancing, and enjoy just the fact that we can be together this morning. Whether you're in your own backyard or in your comfort of your own living room, find ways to stay healthy at home. And remember, please connect with others as we are connecting with you. So this is so important to our well-being. For we believe and we frequently affirm, whenever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. And today's daily word, and someone said today is Grandparents' Day. I think this is a very appropriate daily word. It's love. I open my heart in love. I express the love I feel in my heart by showing my affection and giving nurturing attention. I speak loving, positive words that let those I care about know how much they mean to me. As my words affirm their goodness, beauty, and intelligence, I watch those qualities bloom like flowers blessed by sunshine. I extend my arms and embrace my family and friends with warmth and comfort of unconditional love. I support my loved ones with compassion and care on their journey through life. I share my wisdom as I teach, my experience as I advise, and my understanding as I console. I pray for those I love, knowing that the Christ within them is the light that guides them everywhere they go and in everything they do. I am grateful for my role in my loved ones' lives. From John 3:18, little children, let us love, not in word or speech, but in truth and action. And the affirmation for today is, I open my heart in love. And now to those affirmations that we say together that we know at the core of our being. There is only one presence, one power, one love active in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And it is with these words and in this consciousness that we bless the names of the people in the prayer box, knowing as we speak our affirmations and pray today, we hold them in that healing light of love and peace. We bless our healthcare workers, emergency responders, all people who make our world safer today. We bless the clerks in the stores and the truck drivers and the farmers and the restaurant workers who are part of an important distribution system for our health and well-being. So let's affirm together for them. There is only one presence, one power, one love active in your life, God the good, omnipotent. And there is only one presence, one power, one love active in this ministry, God the good, omnipotent. Would you like to say that together? There is only one presence, one power, one love active in this ministry, God the good, omnipotent. There is only one presence, one power, one love active in the world today, God the good, omnipotent. Together we say, there is only one presence, one power, one love active in the world today, God the good, omnipotent. And we pray, O loving presence, comfort and heal those who have been touched by disease, disharmony, whether they are in our family or our community, people that have been affected by the fires in our state, in our nation, in our world. We immerse them in our love and lead them through any dark times and into the light. Give them peace as it passes all understanding and lets them know that they are loved, and love always prevails. Thank you, God. Amen. And now we're going to move into meditation. The song that we're going to have is number 251, Flow, Spirit, Flow. Gordon? With the sound of flow, spirit flow, still running through the mind, I invite you to close your eyes, if you wish, and begin to take this moment to be aware of any thoughts and feelings that you may be experiencing now. And I invite you to welcome and acknowledge them, because that is the present moment. Flow, spirit, flow. And you just feel that washing over you and everyone on this line and everyone in the world. I invite you now to bring your attention to the physical body, feeling the support that you are using to support your body with, feeling the support of the floor or the ground beneath your feet. We're supported that way in life all the time by the unseen power of God. Feel the support extending through your legs, your lower body, your upper body, and your arms, to the head, and the awareness of the presence of spirit all around you right now, and the comfort that you feel. I want to start with a definition from the Metaphysical Bible, and it is the Word of God. John gives us the following concerning the Word of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word is the divine Logos, God in his capacity as creative power, and includes all the potentialities of being. It is the idea of God, the image and likeness of God, spiritual man. It is all the possibilities, all the qualities of God. That presence is within each one of us. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. The thoughts and feelings are often of the physical world, the things that we see and hear. But we always have the opportunity to go inside into the stillness and connect with that spiritual presence that's always available to us, the God presence. I invite you to take this moment to just take in the silence. Feel whatever you're feeling right now. That's your being. That's who you truly are. As we rest in this moment, we feel the presence and the power. We feel our physical body. We feel the emotions that are running within. We feel the spiritual presence of this moment and the connectedness that we each have with each other. The awareness that you have in this moment is who you are. You have the ability to push and vibrate out that love. As the Daily Word said, I open my heart in love. That is the God presence. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are love. You are the presence of love. Feel that presence. Feel it moving outward. Feel it radiating to the loved ones, to anyone that is important and loved by you. And we send that same vibration out to the world who's in so much in need of our love right now. I pray for those I love, knowing that the Christ within them is the light that guides them everywhere they go and in everything they do. I am grateful for my role in my loved ones' lives. I open my heart in love. That feeling of love strengthens and comforts each and every one of us. It is God's presence within, and it provides for calmness, clarity, and focus. And as I bring this meditation to a close, take a moment to appreciate and love yourself. You are the bearer of light and love. And when you're ready, let yourself feel once again your physical presence. Open your eyes, return to the room, awake, energized, and calm. I pray for those I love, knowing that the Christ within them is the light that guides them everywhere they go and everything they do. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for that centering, presencing, because what you led us through is basically the only thing we ever talk about and work on here every Sunday. It's what we open with, affirming the one presence, one power, one love that is the only activity in all of reality. It's what we close with. Love is the only power, the only way to animate our thoughts and behaviors. That's it. That's all. That meditation touched on all of it. And the practice that we undertake is equally simple. We surrender to the God mind that contains our human mind. And in that surrender, that letting go and letting God, we do the practices that change our thoughts about the activity of reality. We release the error consciousness by which we've believed, in Emily Cady's words, in the things of the flesh, and we glow instead in the light of God's presence. I learned to stop my thoughts of little me, of a sinful world, of lack and limitation, and to replace these with thoughts of perfection, unconditional love, and divine identity. With the help of divine mind within, I choose to think thoughts of allness and release thoughts of partialness. Even as fires rage throughout the West Coast, as people and property are threatened and harmed, as air quality turns toxic, how I deal with the conditions of my life are my choice. Even in the midst of fear and doubt, you and I are choosing what Eric Butterworth calls practicing the presence of God, what Tom led us through in the meditation, a phrase that actually captures what Jesus taught his followers 2,000 years ago. For instance, in Luke 17:20, Jesus says, "The coming of the kingdom of God be observed, nor will people say, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is,' because the kingdom of God is in your midst." And in Matthew 13:11-17, he explains to his disciples his method of teaching using parables. They've asked him why he uses parables or stories to make his points. And he answered and said unto them, "Unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But whoever has not, from him shall be taken away even that which he has. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men desired to see the things which you see, and saw them not, and to hear the things which you hear, and heard them not." So, using Jesus's words, we are training ourselves to see the kingdom here in our midst. We choose to become one of those who have, that is, who have conscious contact with the divine. We cannot observe its coming, as Jesus says, because it's always here. It's hiding in plain sight. As Tom led us in the meditation, whatever we see, whatever we feel, whatever we think is the kingdom of heaven manifesting itself. Now, we are all born into the condition of not seeing and not hearing this reality. Therefore, we must be taught by those who have learned to see and hear, and then practice what they have taught us until we too see and hear. So today I want to share with us a way to discover teachers whose words and methods may be just the thing, that special insight that helps us break through to seeing the kingdom and only the kingdom everywhere, both within us and outside of us, to help us experience and know allness in every moment of our lives. Now, since we don't all learn the same way, I find it valuable, as I think most of us do, to employ a variety of sources, to dig into them to find a truth that resonates with our divine intuition. How many of us have found, sometimes by accident, sometimes following someone's recommendation, just the thing, just the word we've been looking for? So today I want to introduce us to the Truth Unity website. This is a treasure trove of unity and New Thought writings and presentations I've often referred to here on Sundays. Now, we've had the pleasure of twice hearing from its founder and manager, Mark Hicks, who is himself alone a source of amazing insights. And we have a direct relationship with Truth Unity, for it is one of the sources of our spiritual good to which we regularly tithe. Now, the address of Truth Unity is www.truthunity.net. You might want to write that down, www.truthunity.net. Or if you don't want to write it down, it will be in the weekly e-blast next week. Or, of course, you can just do an internet search on the words Truth Unity, truthunity.net. Now, when you get to the webpage, the first thing you will see is a message from Mark Hicks. Now, Mark always has something powerful and sometimes provocative to say. He often comments, as he has in his talks with us, on issues showing up in our Unity and New Thought activities. Now, on the left-hand side of the Truth Unity homepage, you will see a list of his writings and the links to them. Now, lately, he has been looking through older texts from the period of unity when Myrtle and Charles Fillmore were at the leadership. We might think of this as the founding era. One of the amazing things about this period is how much the Fillmores invited and published writings of other New Thought teachers and investigators who were not necessarily part of unity. We tend in unity today to focus on what we might call the unstable writers, those formally associated with unity, but the Fillmores themselves were much more Catholic in their ministry. And we'll come back to this a little bit later and look at it in detail. As I said, Mark has been going through the archives and sharing some obscure, to us anyway, writers and thinkers that have something wonderful to tell us. This week, for instance, he is featuring a gentleman named Starr Daly, Starr Daly, Daily, whose book titled Love Can Open Prison Doors was published in 1934. Daly was actually in prison. It's not clear for what crime, but it had to be serious enough that he found himself in solitary confinement. The Mark gives the background of this remarkable man who had a surrender experience while being literally tied up, manacled up against the wall in solitary confinement, an experience that led to the complete transformation of his thinking and experience. It is the story, we might say, of his opening his eyes to see the kingdom within while being physically restrained. Mark tells us that while in prison, Daly discovered unity writings, which had a great impact on his thinking. In fact, his writings were first published in Unity magazine in 1933, which led to DeVore's, a New Thought book publisher, publishing Love Can Open Prison Doors the next year. Not only does Mark give us a robust background on Starr Daly and his writings, he offers both a PDF of the book, chapter by chapter, and an audio recording of a talk Daly gave on his experiences some years later. He ends his own summary of Daly's book and experience by saying this: the authenticity, integrity, and seriousness of Starr Daly's story reminds me of 12-step AA, Alcoholics Anonymous spirituality. There's no nonsense here, no spiritual exploring, no fluff in him whatsoever. If you're at the end of your rope, he's the one to be reading. Now, I'd never heard of Starr Daly, and I probably wouldn't have if I didn't visit Truth Unity every week. Well, some of the others that Mark has shared with us in the last month alone include Louis Dunnington, Newton Dilloway, Charles Braden, H.B. Jeffrey, Glenn Clark, and Agnes Sanford. Now, like Starr Daly, I knew nothing of most of these people, and I'm thrilled to learn about them. Maybe one or more of these New Thought explorers has something just for me or just for you. Now, in between offering these folks and their writings, Mark authors a lot of commentary on the works of Eric Butterworth, along with audio files of many of his talks, each of which is a gem in itself. So you can actually go and listen to Butterworth giving his talks. Mark also recently published what many consider the founding document of the New Thought movement, Ralph Waldo Emerson's Divinity School address given at Harvard in 1838. Mark writes this in his introduction to this essay. What is new, he says, is that the address is now online, segmented, and annotated with commentary from a metaphysical Christian point of view. Today, the address is read and interpreted primarily by academics, but years ago, it was devoured by Catholics and Protestants who were looking for a better way. One of these was Emily Cady, who quotes Emerson more than another person in her book, Lessons in Truth. Another was Charles Fillmore, who read Emerson incessantly. The landing page for this address on Truth Unity, Mark Emerson's Divinity School address, metaphysically interpreted. I have tried to be true to Emerson's ideas as he held them in 1838, but I'm also including metaphysical ideas as Cady and Fillmore read into them in the 1890s. That's new. I hope you will read them and give me your comments, and I hope the academics will forgive me for any places where my interpretation gets out into the weeds. Now, Mark also has his own essays, among which are these titles: Feminist Metaphysics, How to Overcome a Sick Government and Sick Race Consciousness, religious beliefs and prejudices, and many more. Oh, and he's recently released 3 new chapters, these from the letters to the Romans, of the Fillmore Study Bible. Now, all this is just on the homepage of Truth Unity. We've spoken here before of the Fillmore Study Bible Project, which is an annotation of the entire Bible using the insights of Charles Fillmore and others of the founding generation. The goal of the project is to annotate with Unity commentary each chapter of the Bible to help true students study biblical metaphysics. You can find what's been completed so far in the Fillmore Study Bible Project at Truth Unity. You can see on what he calls the Study Bible dashboard exactly which chapters and books are finished and how far there is still to go. The dashboard links you to any chapter that has been annotated, and you can read it for yourself. With our financial assistance, Mark recently hired a project manager to help accelerate progress toward completion. Oh, and this is really cool. We are each invited, should we feel called, to try our own hand at annotating a chapter. You will find this invitation and the instructions on how to do it all in the Fillmore Study Bible section of the website. Now, to assist you in this endeavor, both the entire Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and the Revealing Word can also be found here, and they're easily searchable online. And speaking of searches, the Truth Unity search engine found in the upper right-hand corner of the homepage is an amazingly powerful tool. I use it regularly, and it has never failed me. It searches through the entire database of the website. I dare say you can find anything you might want to learn about just by typing in the topic or the writer that you want to research. So let's talk about Unity and New Thought writers. Not only does Truth Unity offer the texts of all of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore's published writings, but for 10 years, since starting the Truth Unity site, Mark has been combing through the archives at Unity Village and finding and publishing talks and essays unseen and unheard of for years. Now, just take a single example. I'll tell you how I got this. On the banner of the homepage underneath the Truth Unity title, you'll find 5 headings: home, faith, practice, people, and community. Now, I clicked on the Faith tab, which has a drop-down menu comprising 3 topics: Bible, Christianity, metaphysics. So I clicked on Bible, and my, oh my, it brings you to a page with a huge variety of Unity writings about the Bible. Now, this particular one caught my eye: Mysteries of the 4 Gospels by Charles and Cora Fillmore. So I clicked on that, and it brought me to a transcription of 22 talks the Fillmores gave in late 1941 and 1942, never published by Unity. Charles Fillmore himself wrote of these talks. He said, "These lessons are giving to our consciousness mysteries of the 4 Gospels. We mean by that there are truths in the Gospels that have not yet been interpreted in Unity literature, and we are running through these different statements of Jesus's teachings and finding points that haven't been dwelt upon, nor the spiritual interpretation brought out in the Unity literature." Now, Mark himself transcribed 13 of these talks and then got others to complete the work. Each talk is available separately, so you can study them individually. And this is just a tiny example of the love that Mark has lavished on our movement to provide as complete a record of our founders and their colleagues as possible. Have you ever heard Myrtle Fillmore speak? Well, you can find several audio files of Myrtle reading prayers and poems at the website. Same with Charles Fillmore. What a blessing it's been to me to hear the actual voices of these 2 remarkable people. You can find many, many issues of the original Unity publication called Modern Thought and of its successor now called Unity Magazine. In these files, there are hundreds of articles giving an insight to the early explorations of New Thought practitioners. Now, I simply don't have the time to give us more about this remarkable resources. I doubt I'll live long enough to find everything that Mark has packed away. But I'll close with this. If you are struggling with your practice of changing your thoughts from belief in limitation to faith in the eachness of the allness that you truly are, you just might find something to assist you at Truth Unity. If you are curious about our roots in unity, if you want to read our primary sources for yourself, if you want to explore metaphysical Bible studies for your own soul, this is the place to go. If you enjoy travels with like-minded people, you will find new friends and congenial companions on the Truth Unity bus. If you want support for seeing our suffering world with the loving eyes of divine mind, you will find stories of how our fellow unitics dealt with their suffering world a century ago. Now, I started today's share by observing that there's only one thing we talk about and work on around here on Sundays: practicing the presence of God. I am the eachness of the allness of God. You are the eachness of the allness of God. Every time a deeper dimension of this consciousness reveals itself, it feels like a miracle. It feels like a miracle until we make ourselves at home in it. And in every moment, we become ready for the next miracle. So give yourself a treat. Go discover the miracles that await you at Truth Unity. You will be amazed and blessed by everything that you will find there. And to seal the deal, let's sing our closing song, I'm Ready for a Miracle. Ready for a Miracle is in Wings of Song 346. Gordon? So you're ready for a miracle? I'm ready. So as we come to the end of our time together, the miracle of our experiencing the eachness of the allness, it's time for us to share our offering. This is a way of continuing prosperity practice. We share in the circulation of our good with each other in this ministry. Prosperity results from our awareness of the allness of God always acting within us, always. The allness of God gives us access to everything we need at all times. Tithing to sources of our spiritual good is an acknowledgement of our faith in this principle. Prosperity then manifests in receiving more than we give. We thank each of you for supporting this ministry financially, even though we can't pass the basket physically. Information on how to contribute is in the weekly e-blast. And now I ask us to take our offerings in our hands, either physically or virtually, and affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. God is the source and I am the channel. Thank you, God. Amen. As always, I'd like to issue an invitation for you to join us at our midweek prayer service this coming Thursday morning, 9 a.m., using the same call-in number as the Uber conference. Love to have you be with us for our midweek prayer refresher. Now, with that, I invite us to stand and form a virtual form a virtual circle and join us in singing our closing song, Love is the Only Power, Love is the Only Way. Now, as Gordon unmutes all of us, we'll join together with a prayer for protection. Together, the light of God.
The light of God surrounds us.
Around
The
us.
love of God
The power of
the power of God
protect us.
You know what? The presence of God
Wherever we go,
wherever we are,
God is. All is well.